Hello and welcome back to Forge Academy. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to sort and filter large amounts of data from your spreadsheet using just one simple shortcut, instead of complex formulas or macros that will usually take a lot of your time and effort. You'll also learn how to insert multiple slicers, customize them, and use them to filter your data in a clean and interactive way. So let's get started. First of all, select the range of data you want to work with. If you want to select the whole sheet without any blank cells, you can do this with few simple shortcuts. Reach your top left table in cell A1 by pressing Ctrl plus Home button. Then press together Ctrl plus Shift and right arrow key from your keyboard to select the entire row. And while still holding Ctrl Shift, also press the down arrow key to select the data all the way to your bottom row. Now that the entire range is selected, turn it into an interactive table by pressing Ctrl plus T. A new window will appear on your screen named Create Table. It will show you the selected range, so if you know in what cell your data starts and where it ends, you can double check to make sure you have completely selected the data and press. Okay, Excel will create a pre-designed formatted table for you, but is not yet interactive. It has also filters already, but in this format will still take too much time to search through large amount of data. So we can use one or multiple slicers to make this data easier to read and understand. If you're working with a lot of information, regular filters can still feel slow. That's where slicers come in. They make everything easier to read and navigate. Also, by clicking on the table, a new Table Desing tab will show. Here you have multiple options for your table to turn on or off the filters, to bolt first or last column, or also to show the total row. Therefore, you can insert a slicer by simply clicking on the button right here, and a new window will show on your screen with a list of all column headers. You can select one or multiple categories to turn them into a slicer by simply click on the empty box in front of their names. So I will choose the first two, project name and task name, for my slicers. Now we have the slicers generated on our screen. You can drag and move them around, place them in a more convenient position. For a better visualization, you can also further customize each slicer using the options at the top of your screen in the new opened tab named Slicer that appear when you click on a slicer. You can also change their color from the pre-designed formats. Also, there is a drop-down menu for more options and a new slicer style button for even more options. So I will change my first slicer with project names in green, and the second one in this dark blue color. Also, on the top right from this tab, you can define the number of columns from inside the slicer. So if I input here 2, the slicer will divide the categories into 2 columns, and you can also define the height and width of your slicers if you want all to have the same size. So we'll define both slicers to have the same size and number of columns. Doing so, we can now sort our data by simply clicking on items inside your slicer. The best part about slicers is that even if you can use multiple slicers, you can also select multiple categories within the same slicer, but there are 2 ways to use the multi-select tool. First method is by clicking on the multi-select icon located at the top right corner of your slicer, next to the Clear All Filters icon. By turning the multi-select on first, and after selecting the categories, names you are removing those from your visualization. Excel is hiding those rows. In my case, engineering, marketing, and production. If you want to only view your selection, you have to use the slicer in the second possible way. First, let's clear this selection, so we have the whole table back. Now you have to select your first category. After activate the multi-select button, and after that you can keep selecting as many as you need, and Excel will only show you selection. Another powerful feature is that slicers interact with each other. As you may see on the screen, we'll show only the task names that are in our selected project names. All the others are grayed out. Also, if you want to have a different name for your slicer, you can rename it in the same tab at the left side at Slicer Caption. So I will rename my slicer to be named Projects. As you may see, this will change only the slicer label and will not modify the name of the table header. I can do the same for the second slicer and name it Tasks. From the same menu, you can select to bring forward or send the slicer backward if you will have many overlapped slicers. So first, you have to select the desired slicer and then use the icon to bring it forward or the drop-down menu to bring it to front, overall, or just forward. The same way works the second option to send it backwards. Other useful option is the selection pane. By clicking on this, a new window will open at the right side of your screen, showing all of your slicers in a list. Just keep in mind that here you'll see all slicers listed by their original column names, and not the renamed labels if you choose to change their name in Slicer Caption. The best part about this panel is that you can show or hide all slicers, but you can also hide only some of the slicers by clicking on the eye icon on the right of the slicer name. So this is a very good feature because you are able to use multiple slicers for your data, but also to hide some of them so you don't have too many overlap slicers on your screen. And that's it. Now you know how to quickly organize and filter your data using the Ctrl+T shortcut and slicers, without relying on complex formulas, filters, or pivot tables. I'll be back with more Excel tips and tricks in future videos, so don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out. If you found this helpful, feel free to share it with your friends or coworkers, and leave any questions in the comments below. Have a great day and see you in the next tutorial.